The Boston Bruins just shocked everybody in tonight's game against the Montreal Canadiens. A very good game from this whole team, a lot of surprises, as well as a player definitely wanted to prove us wrong after his name has been in a lot of conversation lately. We're going to be talking about that, as well as an article from the Athletic, from Fluto Shinzawa, about the potential offseason moves the Bruins may make. Now, did this reveal what the plans are for the Boston Bruins? We're going to be talking about all of that here in this video. Before we do, though, we noticed that 95% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. So if you're looking for a spot to get all of your Boston Bruins news as it happens and stay up to date with everything from this team, you're in the right spot. Make sure to hit the sub button, join us along this journey, and you won't miss out on any of the major Boston Bruins news. But without any further ado, let's get straight into tonight's game. This was an absolutely fantastic performance from just about everybody on the team. A lot of stuff good to look forward to. A lot of stuff that is going to be very good for the rest of this season that you would want to see. So I'll pull up the box score here. You can take a look at this here. Pause if you want, but it'll also be at the bottom of the video if you wanted to scroll through it, have a look throughout this video. But what a game from a few people in specific, whole team. But I want to give a shout out to a few of these players here who definitely wanted to know that this game is where they need to be. First of all, right at the top of the screen there, you can see Johnny Beecher. The face-offs tonight for him, 8-3. Just a phenomenal performance for his first game back into the NHL. A spot where he wanted to be. He kind of proved us wrong that, this is where he needs to be. This is where he wants to be. And, he definitely had a very good night on the face-off circle. But let's pull this back up here. Justin Brazeau, another game where he was, he wanted to be that guy. He was very big on the puck. Some really good shifts out there, using his size to his advantage. And just once again, proving that he wants to stay in the NHL. He's got to fight for his spot on this team. Definitely proved it here that, he's willing, he's ready, and he wants to stay here on this team as well. One more that I want to talk about here before we get to the big guy is Andrew Peeke. What a game from him in his first game as a Boston Bruin. Kind of revamped, I guess you could say, his season here in his first game with the Bruins. But I'll just pull up. I was going to save this for a bit later, but I want to pull this up now. Andrew Peeke, you can see this is, a hockey stat chart from the Hockey Stat Chart Twitter account. Shows, the positive and negative from the players on this team. And you see right at the top, Andrew Peeke. Every aspect of his game tonight was perfect. This is going to be something that we're going to be looking forward to over these next few seasons. I've been very high on Andrew Peeke so far since the Bruins have traded for him. I know that, although this season in Columbus was not the best for him, is not the best for, his career and where he's been so far, this is definitely a available option or a good option for the Bruins to turn his career around. We've seen his last two seasons, only missed 2 games out of the rest of them over those 2 seasons, and he was, 21, 22 minutes time on ice per game with the Columbus Blue Jackets, and, I no doubt in my mind could he have done this here as well with the Bruins, and he showed that he was absolutely ready to be on this Bruins team. So, one more guy this is the one big one I was talking about, Jake DeBrusk, the guy whose name has been all over the trade deadline last week. Was he going to get traded? Was he going to get moved? Are they going to re-sign him this offseason if they don't move him? And tonight he proved that, he wanted to be on this team. He wants to stay on this team. He's committed. It's very good to see when Jake DeBrusk is on, he's on, but when he's off, he's very off. So, we've seen an on night, but hopefully those rumors, those reports of him, potentially being traded, not knowing about his future with the Boston Bruins, kind of lit a fire under him. Hopefully that, that little spark, and, hopefully that he can get this going for the rest of the season. Understand that his future with the Bruins is uncertain. We don't really know what it will be, he don't even know what it's going to be. So I hope that this game, those reports really ignited something in him. Hopefully he'll continue to play like this throughout the rest of the season, because we're definitely going to need it heading into the playoffs. But, once again, what a game. I'll pull up this chart here, this one here again. Pretty much a good game from everybody. Linus Hallmark, an excellent game as well. Once again, not too many shots on him in this game here, but a very defensive game from both sides. Both teams blocked a lot of shots. And, once again, a very good game. And I hope to see this continue. Finally, an overtime win as well. I can't not mention that. After many, many overtime losses, an overtime win, it's definitely nice to see playoff atmosphere in the Bell Center tonight. Bruins fans were all over. That's one thing you got to say. It was a very good game. Could have been 2-0. That Montreal goal, as much as you might hate to say it, very nice. Very nice from Nick Suzuki. Very beautiful goal. Nice hockey play. So a great game from the Bruins. This is definitely something that you want to see going forward. a lot of these guys, Andrew Peeke, Jake DeBrusk, a lot of these guys taking a big step up, acknowledging that their opportunity is now, that has arose. So I hope to see this for the Bruins over these next few weeks and months heading into the playoffs. But let's get on to the article that Fluto Shinzawa revealed, or I guess you could say the plan that he revealed in this article. He reveals the future plans of the Bruins, or what they should do in his own opinion. Now, I know he don't really have, a guarantee to what the Bruins are going to do, but he's been around the Bruins for a while. He's been involved with this team. So he definitely has a hint about what the Bruins may do and what they may be interested, more than you and me. So this is definitely going to be an interesting article here to look at, and I wanted to discuss this with you guys. There's still lots of time before the offseason, still lots and lots of time, still a playoff run and the rest of the season, but it's never too early to start talking about this, start pondering what could be next for this team, what could be in the future. So I'll put this one up here. This is what he has to say about the forwards. He goes on to talk about a few UFAs and here and there and what that might look like, but he says this: "But it remains to see how long the Bruins would prefer to proceed without an impact pivot. If Elias Lindholm chooses to explore free agency over staying with the Canucks, the Bruins would surely kick tires, and it would allow them to move Zacha to the wing or give Poitras time in the AHL if needed. The Bruins' available cash would decrease if they re-signed Jake DeBrusk. They need a top-6 winger, but the sides disagreed on the 27-year-old's value. He may prefer to see what's out there. If so, the Bruins will look for more help on the wing. They do not want to rush Fabian Lysell, one of their top prospects, if he's not ready to be a full-time number 2 winger." But a lot of stuff to look at here, a lot of stuff that I think is definitely important for the future, mainly Jake DeBrusk and mainly Elias Lindholm, as well as Fabian Lysell, being a part of that here as well. Now, much of this is assuming that none of the UFAs, or not most of the UFAs, return here on extending contracts, as well as the expiration of David Krejci and Patrice Bergeron's, contract, or the penalty they got for taking those two on. So, I like what's going on here. I think that Elias Lindholm is still definitely a good option. I wanted him to be a Bruin at the deadline. I think it would have fit perfectly into the system they have. Once again, being able to move Zacha to the wing, giving Poitras enough time to develop instead of rushing him in. One thing I'm a very big, fond believer of is not rushing any rookie or any prospect into an NHL system, as well as a Jake DeBrusk extension. Tonight he kind of proved that he wanted it, proved everybody wrong that, he shouldn't have been traded. He wants to stay on this team, but we'll never really know, but he certainly played like he wanted to remain a Bruin. But, a few insights here on the forwards. I think a few things that will be, or most of these things here will definitely be in consideration come the offseason. But another one here that I want to discuss is another big one that we discussed at the trade deadline as well, is the goaltending. Really, what's going to happen to Linus Ullmark? He's been so good over these past 2 seasons, Vezina winning season last year, but, a contract, or the NHL is a business, and the contract is a contract, and things may not work out as everybody wants them to. So the succession plan is here. This is from Fluto Shinzawa as well. Sweeney has a clear-cut ace, and Brandon Bussi, I believe that's how to pronounce his name. I do apologize if that is wrong, as his understudy. He's yet to make an NHL appearance. In theory, a Swayman-Bussi tandem would remain an organizational strength. That would mean the Bruins would have to find an interested party in Linus Ullmark and negotiate his partial no-trade protection. Ullmark will be entering his final season of his 4-year, $20 million contract, $5 million AAV, and he turns 31 on July 31st. By trading Ullmark, the Bruins would clear the way for that duo. They would be delighted with getting back into the first round for this 2024 upcoming draft. They traded their pick in last year's Tyler Bertuzzi deal, but a first-rounder may be too high a return for Ullmark. Perhaps they could score a second- or third-round selection, both of which they do not currently own. Now, a lot of interesting things to come from this one. Now, I do agree this is the tandem of the future for the Bruins. Definitely a Swayman extension coming, but trading Linus Ullmark for anything other than a first or a few prospects, I don't think will happen. I think that Linus Ullmark could definitely draw in that, a good return for the Bruins, more than what they're saying here in this article. But, once again, is it really going to be a trade that occurs with him? Is he going to be going to want to stay with this team? And the no-trade clause, once again, is another big thing they have to look at. He apparently, from what we've been seeing from reports, rejected a trade this trade deadline. So, whether or not that is true, whether or not that is indeed the case, I think it's going to be something to look at in the offseason as well. I think Linus Ullmark likes where he's too. I really can't blame him. This team is looking good, and that tandem with him and Swayman is definitely an interesting one. But, I just want to touch on these two here, the forwards and the defense, kind of what we're going to be seeing in the future. I want to know what your guys' thoughts are on this. I'm going to have more, obviously, as the season and the offseason come and progresses, but I just want to talk about this now just to generate a few ideas, after a pretty stressful game against Montreal going to overtime and everything. But, it's a very exciting season, very good game, and a lot of stuff coming for the Bruins that I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about and getting your opinion on it. So let me know what you think of the game here tonight. Obviously a very good one, a very stressful one heading to overtime, but it ended up all good for every party involved. Montreal's getting a higher pick, a big win for us, great game for these players. So excited to see what the rest of this season holds, as well as the future. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be going. So if you want to see more from this channel, if you want to get more updates from the Boston Bruins, make sure to hit the sub button. Join us along this journey. There's a lot of stuff coming. Very excited for it, but that's all I got here. If you did like the video, make sure to give it a like. Hit the sub button as well, like I said, but that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.